Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning whenever you're watching this video. Let me see who is in the chat. Hey, Antoinette. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Nene. Hey, Yuli. How are you guys doing this evening? And then let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Aspen. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at. Hey, Leo. Good evening. All right, you guys can hear me? Okay, so you said fine, so I'm assuming yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, you guys can hear me. All right, you guys, we are going to get into this. Child, look, Aspen, Aspen, like, Chris, Nicole, you are spoiling us with the lies. Look, yes and no, because the reason why I do this is because when things get really hectic, especially with work and other stuff, I may not be able to do this all the time. So I always want to just have and give you guys content. But while I have the time to do it, yes, I try to do it. So yes, I appreciate it. But yes, I try to give you guys lives and content as much as I possibly can. So, as you guys know, the topic, what's going on with King Harris? Okay. And I have this picture up because this was really the first time that we saw T.I. and Tiny as far as their whole family of kids. And it was, of course, T.I.'s family hustle. Okay. And I'm going to assume everyone in the chat at least knew about the show or watched the show. I watched the show. I don't know how many seasons it was on, but I want to say the first 2 seasons or so, I watched it, especially when T.I. was getting out of prison. And then that time when he had to go back to prison as soon as he got out. So all of that occurred, I believe, on the Family Hustle show. And of course, we got introduced to not only T.I.'s kids before Tiny, but we also got introduced to T.I. and Tiny's children at the time before the little girl came, which was King and also Major. All right. And so when we first saw them, we, I guess, assumed they were, your average family that had their ups and downs. And King, even back then, you can tell he was a very hyper child. He was a very You talking about Tiny's voice? Yeah. Tiny voice, yeah. She talk like this. She talk like this. Yeah. He just that he's such a good dude. That's Tiny. That's Tiny. So yeah, so I get it, but everybody pretty much knows the family dynamics. And watching King, looking back at it, King was a hyper child and Major was like the mellow child, okay? And so with that, we saw the ups and downs, but I would say even more so, we saw a lot of ups and downs once the show went off. And besides the drama that Tiny and T.I. have had with the scandals and stuff that allegedly came about, the situation with the children. The reason why I say what's wrong with King is because this is not the first time. This is definitely not the first time that we have had one of T.I.'s kids out and about in the news or in the social media in somewhat of a negative / embarrassing way. And so I understand that a lot of people look at this situation and say he comes up from a family of money. He's just a spoiled brat. He's entitled. And that could be true also. But based on what just occurred on that live, I'm thinking there's a little bit more to it. Okay. And even before that, certain things that he said, even in interviews. But before we get into that, how many people actually saw the live that King had when he got into it with his father and his mother? Put a 1 in the chat if you watched it. Put a 2 in the chat if you have not watched it. And let me know. Let me know if you guys actually watched it. And then we can kind of go from there, because I'm wondering if you saw the smaller clip or you saw the full clip, because there's a full clip out there that led to the whole fight. Hey, Kim. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, 1. Hey, Andrea. Okay, 1. Okay, all right. So we have more ones, but the ones who are ones, do you guys have an issue with me playing it? Because I think we need to kind of play it. I'm going to have to stop it in between. Fair use. This is from Neighborhood Talk, but I can't do the whole entire thing without kind of cutting in and out. Okay, you've just been reading commentary about it. Okay, got it. So I'm going to play it and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. And I want to give a different perspective on this, because there are times, in my opinion, when you have kids, you really don't know what you're going to get when it comes to children, right? You just don't know. But then there are also times where sometimes, instead of us looking at it as this is a child who is just spoiled and entitled, maybe there are things that the parents could have done to kind of help the situation. Oh, Lord, there go Nene. Nene with the smoke. Blow your smoke. Hey, Vanessa. All right, so I'm going to play it, okay? So listen out.
Have you ever woke up with a roach on your face? Here. No, that's not the goal. All right, then. There it goes. Or in your ear. I got in the neighborhood with me that woke up with a roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando in my neighborhood? Do y'all want to go to the bando? Do y'all want to go to the bando? To make him look better, he said he know not to. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life. You did have a silver spoon. I used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the fight. You cried like a baby to go to your grandma's house. Every day. You used to hold your breath. Every day. I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood. That's why I want to be over there. But they don't understand that. No, I'm going to tell you the reason why you want to be over there. Y'all ready? Because he can suck and pacify over there till he was 12 years old. He was a sucker and pacify till he was 12 years old. He couldn't do that in the house. You understand? Yeah. They trying to say I was over there trying to suck a passy, but they ain't going to tell you everything like that. They're trying to hide it. He capping. He know I stand on business. He know that. Ain't no nigga ever pulled my car ever in life. I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business. You drop me in your hood, I stand on business. I don't feel like you stand on business. Yeah. I've been stood on business. I've been stood on business. You want to hide it for the world, I'm going to put it out there for them to see. I want to put up nowhere.
Mind you, he said they trying to hide it.
Like, you ain't have me behind the mansion. I was outside doing what I wanted to do. You was behind that TV ride. No, I got too much to drink. I drunk too much. Let's go. Now, get mad because we say the South ain't the suburbs. Then he want to talk about some other like this being shit. This being shit. No, I'm being real. You lying. You up here flagging. You're capping. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business. Why you even letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? No, ain't no joking. What you mean? You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. What is she talking about? Well, you can't do.
All right, so that's when the actual physical part came into play, and it appears that T.I. had him in a chokehold. That's the way it looks. You can't really see that much, but there's a couple of things that he said. He said, y'all hiding, y'all trying to hide, y'all hiding. And then he also said several times to his father, I know you, you capping, I know you, you're capping. So with that, he has been problematic. We remember the big issue with the Waffle House, okay? And remember at the Waffle House when that whole situation went down and he was disrespecting the people who work there, his father came out pretty much saying, you know, I'm pretty much trying to teach my son, like, there's certain things that you shouldn't talk about or argue with, and why are you arguing with a short order cook? As if he was trying to degrade the person who was working there. So that has happened. He even had some type of challenge. It was like a one chip challenge that he had, where he was actually doing a challenge with a homeless man that people thought was very ignorant and just out of line what he did. Because, of course, he is on live all the time. So I guess he videotaped it in the process of doing this with the homeless man. So he has been problematic. But the thing is, hey, man, hey, Nivea. But the thing is, when it comes to being problematic like that, it could be that he's bad. It could be that he's entitled. Or it could be that he's lashing out because of how he feels about his parents. I think he's 19, Nivea. I think he's 19 years old. Because he did an interview not too long ago. Well, first things first, King and Major especially were way too young to give permission about more than likely being on that show. Okay. Maybe the older kids were aware and was like they were down for it, but you know, Major and King were babies practically on that show. So you're placed in a situation where you're in the spotlight and you're on this show because of who your parents are, which is always going to come with a lot of scrutiny. A lot of scrutiny when it comes to you, your siblings, but also your parents. So the reality is that I don't think King ever really felt like he got a fair, like, can't look, I want to be on the show, or I don't want to be on this show. It may have been forced on him to be on this show. All right, that's one. Then he just said in an interview not too long ago that he didn't even live with them. He lived with his grandmother, which I'm going to assume is Tiny's mom that he was staying with. And he even says that somewhat in this live. He mentions how, well, they said that he was behind the gate, but the reason why, you know, he was no longer behind the gate is because he wanted to suck on his pacifier until he was 12 years old. I know you guys heard that he wanted to suck on his pacifier until he was 12 years old. And, you know, he wanted to cry to be around his grandmama because his grandmother allowed it. Now, here's the thing. Disclaimer. I don't have two-legged children yet. But coming from a huge family, I'll say this. I know there's been plenty of times that I may have wanted to do something. But your parents will tell you they don't give a damn what you want to do. What you're going to do in this house is whatever I tell you to do. And you're not going to be able to run to your grandma's house or your grandpappy's house to do whatever you want to do. You're going to stay in this house and you're going to follow these rules. Am I wrong for saying that? Am I wrong for saying that? So the fact that they said that, and could they have been joking as the reason why he went over there? About the pacifier thing. They could have been, taunting him because of that or joking with him because of that. But it makes you wonder why King stayed with his grandmother. Now, from my understanding, the other kids, T.I.'s kids, none of them stayed with him full time in Tiny. The two boys stayed with their mother, if I'm not mistaken, and Deja, who we're going to get into next, stayed, I believe, with her mother. So that means that the only kids that were really in the household before Zanique moved out, but it was Zanique, from my understanding, King, Major, and Harris. So I'm looking at this and just going deeper, y'all. I'm sorry, but I just felt like this live was just much more than him being an entitled ass or whatever the case may be. I feel like King is lashing out. I really think he is lashing out. Let's not forget that, one, I'm sure everything that has occurred in social media and in the public when it comes to his parents, he's aware of. Not to mention what his father has done to Tiny. All of the cheating, allegedly. We've even heard about that type of stuff. We've heard him allegedly with other women. And then on top of that, this boy is scrutinized left and right. Literally in the actual interview that he did, when he was very transparent and said, look, I wasn't even living with them. He made a comment about how all of these people are saying they're calling him ugly and they're calling him a Muppet. He wanted to make sure that he was aware to address that situation. When you're addressing that situation and you're addressing it loud and clear, and he says it multiple times in that interview, it's because it bothers him. And rightfully so. If you didn't choose this life chose you, and then you're getting scrutinized for looks that you can't help. You know what I mean? Like, you was born into these looks. It's going to bother any child, any adolescent, because yes, he was cute when he was a little boy, but as he got older, people started talking mess about him. You know what I mean? So it literally, I feel like it's a mixture of things when it comes to him. And because we're in a worship society when it comes to celebrities, let's not act like T.I. is the most innocent mofo out there. Because let's not forget Deja, which is the little girl right there with the glasses on in this picture. Okay. Y'all remember the embarrassment Deja went through when T.I. decided to get on a podcast and talk about how he goes to the doctor. You know which doctor I'm talking about, with Deja. And how he's so busy checking in on Deja to make sure Deja is not doing anything. Do y'all remember that? Hey, Belle, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm talking. But do you guys remember that? Hey, Ruby. Yeah, do you guys remember what he did with Deja? So Deja didn't ask for that. Deja didn't sit up there and say anything about that. T.I. decided to do that. Yes, Aspen, yes. So that's that situation. When he did that, it almost makes you say, okay, T.I., what's really going on here? Like, what's really going on? Because Deja got embarrassed, and Deja wasn't even a child that lashed out. She wasn't even a child that lashed out. She got that embarrassment and that scrutiny. I think she was going into college, or she was in college. She got that just off of her father talking on a podcast. And then literally next thing you know, social media blew up about Deja, and Deja didn't even ask for it. And I think somebody said something about how Tiny was called Miss Piggy. It's one thing to be called those names when you're an adult. It's another thing to be called those names when you're in your adolescence. And let's also not act like it hasn't affected Tiny. In my opinion, you can't tell me those type of comments didn't affect Tiny, because if you look at who Tiny was back in her escape days versus now, Tiny has gotten a lot of work done. You know what I mean? She has gotten a lot of work done. So to me, those comments, it affected her too, in my opinion. So yeah, like, it's not like T.I. is squeaky clean, and no one is saying that any parent should be squeaky clean. Like, parenting, I hear it constantly from friends, family members, like, you cannot raise every child the same. Every child has a different frequency. Every child has a different personality. One child could be more sensitive than the other. It's not a situation where it's ever been easy. So I'm not saying that. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is that what is making King lash the hell out the way that he is. And I just truly think it's beyond him being this spoiled, entitled brat. Because you don't hear him lashing out at his grandma like that, do you? He ain't never said nothing disrespectful about that grandmother who sounds like the grandmother raised him. But he definitely talking to his father, especially his father. Now, his mother, to me, what it sounded like with his mother was he was getting a little too aggressive with his father, and his mother was like, what the F is wrong with you? You better calm down. X, Y, and Z. He's just joking. It doesn't really sound like he really was trying to go for his mother. Sounds like he was more so trying to go for T.I. But I could be wrong. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Oh, yeah. He definitely sounds like he don't respect his father at all. At all. You know what I'm saying? He at all he doesn't. It just sounds like there's animosity there. It sounds like a lot. And the problem is sometimes, and I'm not saying this is T.I. situation. The problem is sometimes you work so hard to get yourself and get your family into a better financial situation that sometimes people think financially is all that person needs or all people need to be okay. And that may be a problem. Because even in this situation, they actually take it back to another scene on The Family Hustle that they had with him. And this is a scene where King was actually crying about how he wants to be in the entertainment industry. I'm gonna let y'all hear this.
There's a certain structure and discipline that comes with school that King definitely needs. That's part of the journey. You can't do it for him. His mama can't do it for him. His mama can't do it for him. Neither can I. I don't think Tip realizes that King is really serious about creating music. I mean, we want all our kids to get out there and do what they do. But as a parent, you're torn because you want to make sure they keep their ass in school and get good grades. I'm fighting for what I want. Keep fighting, young man. Keep fighting. Ain't gonna do nothing but make a man out of you. Don't cry. What is you still trying to coddle him for? Let the man walk out, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he needs.
Okay. So here's the thing. What do you guys think about that? What T.I. was saying? Hi Denise, are you new? Welcome. What do you guys think what T.I. was saying? Because in this scene that you guys just heard, he wasn't a man. He was a child. I don't even think he was a teenager yet. Maybe he was preteen. So I understand to a certain extent he's saying quit coddling him. But is it possible that maybe he just wanted his father to hear him out and maybe have a conversation man to man about what he wants to do and to have that conversation versus what occurred? But y'all let me know what y'all think about that, because you can tell in that clip he's trying to pour his heart out. You know what I mean? And his father's just like, stop coddling him, let him be a man. Now, let me see what you guys are saying. Hold on. Now, T.I., you should have said that before the foot game. He's 19 and disrespectful. Let him figure it out and stop babying him. Keep it up. He'll be 30 in the same situation. Oh, you should have said that before the football. What do you mean before the football? You talking about the football game. Oh, okay. So okay. I don't like T.I., but he's correct. They coddle that boy too much. But do you think they coddled him more than Major? And we don't hear from Major. And even with the Deja situation, even though she was completely embarrassed, we don't hear from Deja. We don't hear from the other kids, really. Zanique is, I guess, a celebrity and artist in her own right. So you hear from her when she does different shows or different things like that. We're only hearing from King. And the interesting part about it is King is T.I. and Tiny's son, yet he was out of that house living with his grandma. And when it all boils down to it, I don't care what you want. If I know you're going to get a better foundation and stability and discipline in my household, you ain't going to your grandma's house and you ain't living with your grandma. So you think that's it? No, actually, King is not the youngest. King is the out of the T.I. and Tiny biological kids together. King is the oldest. I want to say it's King, then Major, and then the baby girl Eris. That's the order. You think it's because they consider him the not good looking child, so they treat him different? You know, sad to say, it's not like we haven't heard those type of stories before. You know, hey Mickey, I don't know if I said hey to you. So you think that's it, Nene? That's just what it is, that he's fascinated with just the streets? And where did his grandmother say where he was able to attach himself to the streets? The other kids aren't lashing out the way King. Exactly. And the only difference is that I could see is that he wanted it to be known that he did not live with them. He lived with his grandmother. The only time he went over there is when they called and they would say, hey, we shooting this weekend. They would bring him over there. They would act like, I guess they were one big happy family, and then literally take him back to his grandma's house. King think because he hang with Lucy's son, he gangster and whatnot. It's my first time coming. I always watch your recaps on Love. Oh, all right. Hey, Denise, thank you for commenting. Welcome. GMA Live was around the hood. Oh, okay. GMA Grandma. That's you say. I'm like GMA. Grandma was okay. So Grandma lived around the hood, because I don't know if Grandma ever like moved and upgraded her home, or did they stay in the same home that Tiny grew up in? And then if that's the case, again, you know what I'm saying? If he was around that, that's probably why he's acting that way, because he grew up in that area, even though he was T.I.'s son. And why would you want him to grow up in that area, especially when you're saying the reason why? Because he wanted to suck on his pacifier? And again, that could have been a joke, but the fact that they pretty much said, yeah, that's why you always cry to go over to your grandma's house. Well, I don't care how much you cry. You my child. You staying with me. That's simple. King has always had a smart, mouth. I remember he's going to be a problem. Yeah, he was definitely the hyper child. I remember him. He was definitely the hyper child. He definitely was a child. But again, I don't know. This is just going to be my opinion. But it almost seems like when they felt like they couldn't take him, or even maybe didn't want anything to do with him, they shipped him off to grandma. That's my opinion. And again, You don't know what type of child you're going to get. So, and what does that do psychologically to a child? And I'll give an example, another example from a celebrity situation. Y'all know Lisa Ray. Did y'all ever watch Lisa Ray on that Ayanna Van Zant, when she was on there and it was with her daughter and her mother? Did y'all watch that episode? Let me know if y'all saw that episode. The kids whose parents are from the hood grew up in the suburbs but still want to act hood, aka king. Yeah, but that's the problem. He didn't grow up behind that gate. Let him tell it. He grew up with the grandmama. He may resent that because he stayed elsewhere. Right. And that's crazy. He let out the truth like P. Diddy. Yeah, he wanted it to be known. He kept saying, let me show y'all the bando, my G, my house. Right. So true. There's no such thing as going to grandma's house. Right. You know how many times I would say I want to go to my grandma and my grandpa's house or whatever the case may be. I don't care where you want to go. You're going to be here. You want punishment, whatever the case may be. My discipline is my discipline. Okay, so you guys watched it. Okay. Yes, her mama was mean as we could talk about that another time because I think her mother had resentment towards Lisa Ray for several reasons. I think her mother had an issue with Lisa Ray always taking her father's side even when he was in the wrong. But besides that, the scene that I'm talking about is when her daughter, Lisa Ray's daughter, was saying how, she was being, in her opinion, a typical teenager or whatever the case may be. And it got to a point where her mother was saying, I guess she couldn't take her, and she shipped her off to like some type of boarding school or something like that. And I remember when she was talking to Ayanna, she was saying how when she was talking to the people in the boarding school or where she sent her, like what they did or whatever the case may be, the stories that she heard from those kids, she was like, I wasn't doing that. I was nowhere close to being, bad like that. Like, so what did I do to deserve for you to feel like you can't take me, your only child, to send me off somewhere else? And that was one of the things that she talked about as far as the counseling was concerned. And Lisa Ray was saying, she was sorry, but she just felt like she didn't know what to do. But I say all of that to say that affects a freaking child. It does. And that's even in a situation where your parents don't have money. I feel like every child wants to know why their parents would not be willing to take care of them and they had to be shipped off for someone else to take care of them or whatever the case may be. Everybody wants their mother and their father's love, no matter how much they want to not admit it or whatever the case may be. I have situations like that in my family, and no matter how much they were well taken care of, even if they lived with grandma or whatever the case may be, they still want to know why that mother and that father wasn't there to take care of them. So that's what I'm trying to get at in this situation. Because I was just like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all had, a whole Jackson family of kids. Like, it was pretty much just 3 kids between them in the household. So I'm like, what did he do to where he had to go to his grandma's house, but they claiming he was just crying because he always wanted to go over there. Well, it makes you wonder maybe why he always wanted to go over there and why you even let him, if it was simply the fact that he was just being spoiled. I think he said the pacifier thing, it was grandma babying him and didn't understand the silver spoon. And that could be it too. But at the same time, if grandma was babying him too much and he needed discipline and structure, like he just said, and he needed that, as a father, wouldn't you provide that and say, hell no, you're not going to your grandma's house because you're getting babied too much? It's been a while. Can't remember that one with Lisa Ray. Yeah, it was definitely like, if you guys, I don't know if you would just want to watch it, but yeah, King went too far. I'm old school. You better not embarrass me in public. I get it, Wanda. And I think we were all taught that way. But I also feel, and I don't know if this is the situation, but I also feel that sometimes parents also need to be mindful of how they treat their kids. And I know that sounds crazy maybe to some people, but if you have parents or you know people who have parents that have been in toxic situations with their parents, sometimes parents will drive things out of their kids and you thinking it's just simply them just being a sign of just being disrespectful when we don't really know what they went through or what they're going through, but that's just my opinion. I think it was the time of Lisa. I think it was the time of Lisa was the time powering up. Let's see. But it seems to be the way with celebrities, they all take their business to social media. I'm with you on the after player club. Yeah. Oh, the fact that she was trying to level up or whatever, and it was just too much. You saying it was too much for her to try to take care of her child while she was doing that? I think it was because they had too much going on and it was just easier for them. Yeah, but that's a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem because those are your kids. Those are your kids. And you have the means to assist. They had the means to assist their kid on things that maybe he needed certain help with. You know what I mean? T.I. was in prison. T.I. was in prison, I think, when King was little, not as he was growing up. When they first started Family Hustle, I know he was in and out of prison, but at one point he had stopped going to prison for a minute, I think. No, it doesn't sound crazy. I come from a toxic parent situation. I would have nucked when he bucked because he was talking to T.I. like he was dude on the street. Oh, he was, which is why I said he don't respect his father. He don't respect his father. But yes, you have entitled kids who do that type of stuff, but then at the same time, you also have kids who do that when they're lashing out and they're upset. And I just truly think that little situation that happened on IG, that wasn't the trigger. That wasn't the trigger. The trigger was T.I. And it even sounds like the trigger was T.I. possibly taunting him. Now, it may have been a situation where in everyone else's eyes, T.I. is just joking. But if he has a very toxic relationship with his father already, that could have been triggering from him. And again, we don't know necessarily what that toxic part could be, but is it just coddling? I don't know. I don't know. I agree. That's definitely a problem because a damn pacifier ain't a reason to send a child to go live with grandma. Yeah. Or him wanting to be baby. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be baby and as a man who's raising a man type of situation, like he was trying to say, stop coddling him, let this man go through it, whatever the case may be. If you know constantly going to grandma is going to coddle him and baby him, then put your foot down and make sure that he stays in your house so you raise him up to be the man that you feel like he needs to be. Or am I wrong to say that? Do you see what I'm saying? Because at certain points, men got to put their foot down and say, no, like he just did when he was like, stop coddling him. Okay, well, guess what? You can't go to grandma's house and stay with grandma because at this point, I got to make sure that I got to make sure that I am instilling the things that I need for you to understand as a man. So when you grow up, I can say I am responsible for what I instilled in you. It sounds like he made the way Kings makes it seem like T.I. didn't raise him. So if T.I. didn't raise him and the grandma raised him, you know what I mean? Like, you talking about something, you embarrassing yourself in the family. Well, he may think that y'all ain't really his family like that. You may be his parents, but are you his family? He may look at y'all as two separate situations, especially T.I., because clearly he don't respect that man. Shoot, when my eldest niece was little, my mom would let her use a pacifier still. When my sister was weaning her off, my niece just knew where to get her stash when she came to visit. Two things can be true. T.I. and Tiny may have made him feel neglected, but King is also wants to be hood and wishes he lived the street life so he can have something to rap about. Have something to rap about or have something for his father to respect him about. You know? Have something to rap about or have something for his father to respect him about. Maybe he wants respect from his father. Grandma can't raise a man. You got that right. My family wasn't rich, but I never was for nothing, but there was always respect. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I guess I'm also saying is we can't pretend that every parent is a good parent. That's what I'm trying to say. Every parent is a good parent. Just be like it. Just you know what I mean. Like you have parents out there, and again, I'm not saying this related to Ti and Tiny. You have parents out there who truly abuse their kids verbally, physically, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? The human brain and a child can only take so much, even if they are always told to respect their parents. It also says, though, especially if we're going biblical on it, that parents shouldn't taunt their kids and stuff too. So it really goes both ways. That's what I'm saying. King, being the oldest of Tiny and Ti, saw the most of the kids. Tiny was too busy running behind Ti, trying to keep him happy. You know what I mean? Hey, So when he lashes out, does he attack Tiny? It didn't sound like it. And you guys can go to Neighborhood Talk and look at those for yourself. It doesn't sound like it. If it sounds like she was pretty much trying to tell him he needs to stop tripping and calm the F down, and he's just joking with you. And while he was telling his mom, like, nah, why y'all playing with me? Y'all know me. But then he kept talking to his father saying, I know you, you capping, I know you. But he was talking to his father. So I don't know. Like he, probably attacked in a sense of he was losing his cool and his mom was telling him to calm down, but it didn't really sound like he was trying to attack the mom. He was trying to go for the father. That's what it sounded like to me. I really look at Ti and Tiny different now, finding this out. Y'all have so much resources to raise him, and you telling me this boy grew up in a different house. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, that your average child may lash out about that. You got this big old mansion with multiple rooms, all the resources in the world. Why am I living with my grandma? And then you want to act like we're one big happy family when the cameras is on, but then take me back to my grandma's house? Does he get violent? I don't know if he's ever gotten violent with his father before. I don't know. But would it surprise anyone if one day King starts something and ends up, and hopefully that doesn't happen, because I don't want that to happen, or or behind the gates, you don't want that to happen. I don't know. But I also wouldn't put it past him, since he likes to be on social media so much, that he end up airing his whole family out. I wouldn't put it past him to do that. So they still trying to minimize his feelings. Sounds like it. And the thing is, he may really be a sensitive little boy who felt like he never could really be able to talk to his father without his father screaming, saying, man up, man up, man up. That now he feels like the only way he can get his respect is to act like he's hood. Maybe that's it. I remember an episode on Family Hustle. King was acting out. Ti was trying to check that, but Tiny was too hard. Ti said King has a lot of tip in him. Oh, so he's like his father. Well, then you would really want him to be around you to make sure that you can tame that out of him, I would think. You know what I mean? With my 9 kids, my first 5 with my ex-husband, after my divorce, things were hard, and I definitely went without, but never let my parents raise them. See? But again, and look at what T.I.'s music is about. He may have been trying to bond with his father, and T.I. not acknowledging his cry. Exactly. I think he's really lashing out. King needs to know the streets aren't your friend. Yeah. And I think it's going to have to give him one of those situations where he's going to have to come across somebody who don't care who his father is, and it may wake him up. But then again, it may not wake him up. It may not wake him up. And you guys, hit the like button. I'm sorry, I didn't even say that. Hit the like button. If you are new, please like, subscribe, share. But yes, hit the like button. I think he knows he's not the best looking any short. Well, he commented on that. He's commented on interviews before saying y'all calling me a ugly MF and stuff like that. I'm sure he knows he's hurt by that. I'm sure he's hurt by that. You know what I mean? Like they compared him to a puppet. I mean, hell, I got it right here. Well, this is him as he was growing up, and they was talking about him even at this stage, which I think he was like preteen at this point with the blonde hair. And then this is what they started to do. You know what I mean? They started to literally do the comparisons like this. You know what I mean? So instead of him crying, because he was always told, of course, not to cry, it's not manly, he lashed the hell out. And if you don't have the looks, if you don't have the height, you don't have the quote unquote, skill set that you probably are constantly getting compared to when it comes to your father as far as rapping is concerned, what other way do you get attention? And on top of that, you saying that your parents didn't even raise you. So, you know what I mean? Like, what happens? Like the internet is undefeated. You know what I mean? And he probably is like, I wasn't even trying to get into this TV world. Y'all put me in this TV world and then I get scrutinized left and right. And it's one thing to get scrutinized as an adult, which is still hard. But as an adult, you choose to be on national TV when you do reality shows. He's probably been talked about since he was a little kid, a baby. He has Tiny's old face. And that's another one too. Even though she's an adult, all of the stuff that people said about her has affected her too. I mean, the girl ended up even getting her eye color changed at one point. Like, what? They was clowning Tiny's looks. They were, but Tiny was an adult and Tiny chose to be on that show. It may not teach him, shoot, his daddy gets some trouble, but manages to escape full. And there it is. And there it is. His father can escape full accountability in so many areas. So then how are we going to expect for King to accept full accountability? And, he clearly has resentment towards his father, and they probably not even acknowledging maybe, just maybe, they could have handled things possibly better with him. Because they think, well, you had a roof over your head, you had this, you had that, you didn't have no roaches. Like they were saying, you ain't had no roaches, you have no roaches in your ear. So what you complaining about? That's the way it's almost coming across. I gave you all the financial means, so what you complaining about? Financially, yes, it helps to raise children, but you also got to be there emotionally too. I don't think he's ugly. Beauty, handsome is relative, but now, of course, these pictures, but no, he's not. Well, that's what they post. Like literally, if you put in King Harris' name on Google, these pictures pop up. That's the crazy part. If you just put in his name, this pops up. This pops up like straight. I kid you not. You Google his name right now and go to images. This is gonna pop up. When are we going to raise our kids to embrace how you look and walk with confidence no matter what people say? Yeah, but then when you have a mother who doesn't probably have that confidence, which is why she's constantly switching her looks, and then you have the father who seems like he may be allegedly doing his own thing, who's teaching him? Who's teaching them? And I absolutely agree with you, Wanda, but who's teaching them? Who's teaching them? I'm telling you, Google, it's there. It's there. My daughter thinks T.I. is so handsome for me. Yeah, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I'm about to Google him. Go ahead. You'll see it. Yes. And these are just the two I found. There was more, but I was like, I'm not about to put all of these pictures up. Like, I'm just not. But literally, when you really think about it, and I believe they started posting these type of comparison pictures before he was even 18 years old. They started going on this little boy young, really young. I think it's harder in him because he's light and generally light-skinned people are considered attractive. They're considered attractive, don't mean they're attractive. That's the thing. That ignorance is light means quote unquote more attractive. That is bullshit. Okay. That is that, but yeah, that's the thing. Cause I'm sure he's probably seen those type of comments like, how are you light skinned and ugly type of stuff. Like, I'm sure. As a matter of fact, I think I saw a comment like that when it came to him. And in this digital society, it does make it harder. Cosmetic surgery is like the norm, right? The internet has made it this way. Look at the 80s and 90s. It was much more natural beauty. Exactly. And then even with him getting his teeth fixed, they talked about his teeth and his teeth being, you know what I'm saying, like too big. So it's almost like he can't catch a break. He is always going to be seen as T.I.'s child. He clearly has had his issues. There's things that he doesn't really want to talk about, but he did say they trying to hide. And I know you. And then, of course, in the interview, he said that he didn't live with them. You have all of this and you have people clowning you. What other way do you get respect or attention? And when you really think about it, this is your average person who feels that way. If I can't get respect or love from my parents that I wanted, if I can't get respect for my talents, if I can't get respect for this, what's the only way for me to get respect is to act crazy and think that I am the head gangster in charge. I think the blonde hair kind of washed his complexion out. Yeah, I agree. His Mr. Ed T. Yeah, they talked about his teeth. I've been letting my eyebrows grow and now I'm considering natural beauty and I'm like child shaping. I've been letting my eyebrows grow and now I'm considering natural beauty. And I'm like, oh, okay. So in other words, you letting them grow out and you possibly don't want to shape them. I had friends that used to jokingly say, girl, Nivea, you fine, red bone. My daughters aren't light skinned at all. And I told my friends, don't say that because I don't want my kids to think being light is right. And that is commendable. That is something definitely I think a lot of people should teach their children at a very, very young age and correct people who say that in front of their children. Unfortunately, though, the problem is if you have people who have self-hate, if you have people who possibly have self-hate and then they're raising children, what are they really going to teach their children? You know what I mean? What are they really going to teach their children if they don't even like themselves and what they see in the mirror for themselves? I Googled him. Who is responsible for that Google search? I need to speak to the Google manager. I'm over here in tears. What did I say? What did I say? You put in King Harris' name. It is nothing but drama. And for this generation, they would consider that internet bullying. And this generation, that's internet bullying. So this is what he deals with. And I can't even imagine what he deals with in person also. My daughter always had it easier being light with long hair. Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate people who are honest about that. I appreciate people who are honest about that. Because I think if the more that we're honest about that, the more we can have honest dialogue. I think that's what it is. And people don't want to be honest. They want to make it seem like everybody is the same. We go through the same stuff. No, the hell we don't. There are people who have certain privileges in this world, and that's just what it is. My coworker told me she taught her daughter early to not think she's better than her siblings because she's light skinned. Absolutely. And not just say it, but actually show it also. I'm scrolling his pictures. He doesn't look bad all the time. He seems like the more different he tries to look, it doesn't favor him. Yeah, I mean, again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know what I mean? Like, and I think, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all want me to go there? I'm gonna go there. You know why I think people don't find a king that attractive? Let's keep it real. He's light skinned, right? Fair complexion, but he has true African features. He has a broad nose. He has full lips. He has, 4B, 4C hair. So the fact that he's light-skinned and he has these prominent features, you can't tell me that that's not why some people probably look at him like he's not attractive. Because when people think of fair skin, light skin, they truly think of European features. But he doesn't have that. You see what I mean? He doesn't have that. He truly has a lot of the African features. And I really think that's the reason why people really have an issue with him. Makes me wonder if he was more melanated, would people say that? Makes you think. But y'all let me know what y'all think. My daughter even played a mixed kid on a soap opera. Yeah, he looks like his mama. Yeah, I thought I saw Tiny, but I feel like he's a mixture of both of them. And he may look like somebody else that's not even, like maybe a grandparent or something. Because he don't to me look completely like Tiny or T.I. My 7-year-old told me she wanted to take out her eyebrows. I said, no, people pay money to have them shaped and filled like her. Yeah. And she's 7. That just shows you, you know what I'm saying, how much of the effect this has on them. And I even before, when I was younger on social media, just seeing things could affect, kids back then. I know it affected me in a lot of ways, but yeah. Y'all really look at him. He has a broad nose. He has full lips. You know what I mean? He has full lips. He has 4C hair. If he was more melanated, if he was more of a caramel or a deep brown complexion, would they be clowning him the way that they clowning him? You know what I mean? Because again, there's so much stereotypes of if you are lighter skin, you're supposed to have more European features. And furthermore, even if you are more melanated, you are more attractive if you also have European features, meaning you have a slimmer nose, you have slimmer lips. He doesn't have any of that. So why do they find him there? He's not attractive and that's probably what it is. Oh, you light skinned and you have, because again, a lot of people feel like the more African features are not attractive. That was the same situation with OG went through on Basketball Wives. If you look at a lot of Black folks now, we have European features in our brown faces. But that's what I mean. You're more attractive if you have the features more of European, the slender nose, the slender lips, which is why if someone is more melanated, if they have that, they're fine. But like, for example, there were girls on Basketball Wives that season that they were melanated, but they had the slender lips, the slender nose. OG has more of the broad African features. She had the, broader nose, fuller lips. And they was talking about her left and right. He looks like a lighter version of Tiny's dad. He looks like both of his parents. Yeah, I say he's like probably a good mixture, because I don't feel like he looks completely like his mama or completely like his daddy. Some color would tone down the other features. They don't judge brown skinned men the way they don't women. Okay, they don't judge brown skinned men the way that but in my opinion, I feel like they judge light-skinned men differently than more melanated men. Like, for example, in our community, more of light-skinned women get treated better, quote unquote, than more melanated women. But in our community, more lighter men like a T.I. or King, they're constantly being tested because they're seen as the quote unquote lighter, prettier boys. Therefore, they're seen as being soft versus the more melanated you are, as far as the men are concerned, the more masculine and strong you appear. So I'm sure he's tested all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he said, but I'm just saying that if he was more melanated with his features, if he was more melanated, if he was more of a brown complexion, if he was more of, a chocolate complexion, would they be talking about him the way that he does when it comes to his looks? It makes you wonder. So all I'm saying is, y'all, is that I truly feel like it's something bigger than him being entitled. I'm sure there is definitely some of that in there also. But at the same time, the way that he was acting, the way he has been acting, the way that he wants to make an announcement that his parents did not raise him, he's coming off resentful, he's coming off bitter, he's coming off mad, and he's coming off like he wants to lash out because no one has really been able to hear him or wanted to hear him. Light-skinned women are the preference, but light-skinned men aren't. Yes, exactly, Nene. Exactly. Ice-T said he had to be extra hard because he was light and had light eyes. And exactly. Especially out here in Cali. When he came to Cali, he had to be the hood of hoods. Black is beautiful. My husband looks like Akon's brother, and my kids look like him and my mama. My kids know not to entertain ignorant skin tone remarks. But see, you're very aware and conscious about that, Nivea, because I'm sure you are very aware about how even you probably received better treatment than girls who were more melanated, who did have like 4C hair. But again, there are some who act like it doesn't exist. There are girls who look like you who will swear up and down that they don't get special treatment because of how they look. They don't get, especially out here in Hollywood, child, they will act like they do not get special treatment. Yes, the hell you do. You get special treatment with that, and you get special treatment when it comes to guys. So, I think that, again, when people are more honest, we can have that dialogue. But some people really want to act like, no, we're the same. No, we're the same. Black is black. We're the same. And it's like, no. Let's be honest here. I wonder once he grows up, will he be doing a tell-all book or movie? I think he's overflowing with a lot. Yeah, Leo, you better say that again, because I feel it. It feels like he's lashing out. And if they keep taunting him and playing with him, because you heard T.I. laughing in the background. You heard him laughing in the background. He's probably always looked, and again, I don't know, my opinion, he maybe has always taunted King. Like, man, shut up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Stop crying. Grow up, you big baby. No telling. You know what I'm saying? When King was just maybe trying to have a one-on-one conversation with his father, and he felt like he could never get it. Instead, he was constantly taunted, and instead of him crying at a certain point, like his father said, stop crying, he was like, okay, then, I'm going to test, you tested my manhood, so I got to lash out. I will pre-order that book if he does. I think we all would. King might have been out of control and sent to his grandma's house. Yeah, but I don't know about that, Wanda. You have the means to take care of your kids the way that T.I. and Tiny has. Out of control, go to grandma's house. Do you think that's acceptable? And again, everybody's opinion can be everyone's opinion. I personally don't think that's acceptable because that's my child. And I'm going to raise my child. And again, grandmama, to a certain extent, she don't raise her kids. Grandmama retired. Grandma don't want to start over and raise nobody else's kids. Those are your children. So I don't know about that. But again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yeah, it's crazy to me when light-skinned people complain about being light-skinned. When people judge dark-skinned people, it gets more dangerous. That's why I never complain about a struggle. And you are definitely, that's why I love my crew, because I feel like we have a difference of opinions and we can all agree to disagree, or agree and be able to have a healthy dialogue. I love it. That's why Tiny was telling him to shut up in the background. Right? Shut up. You effing tripping. Yeah. And he was like, I know you. It's not acceptable, but these young parents do that. Yeah, but you know what? I think that's been going on for generations. You got a lot of people who's raised by their grandparents. You know what I mean? Because the parents either wasn't ready or didn't feel like it, or, so many different things. And the grandmama didn't want them to go off to somewhere else, so they stayed with grandmama. Shoot, that happened. That's happened in my family. And that ain't even, that happened, 50, 60 years ago. Man, these days people relinquish custody, guardianship of their kids so much easily, it seems. Yeah. And that's, I guess for me, that's another thing too. Like, I was one person who knew in my 20s I did not want kids. I did not want kids because I just seen the examples and, grateful with my parents. Once you have kids, your life doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to your children. It belongs to your children. That's the way it works. And I knew in my freaking 20s, I wanted my life to belong to me and me to do what the hell I wanted to do. So that's why I was like, oh, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna try my best not to have no kids. And thank God I didn't. You know what I mean? T.I. seems very arrogant. Yeah. He even does that with Tiny. In my opinion, just seeing him on the show. I was raised, my grandma, thank God my mama is, ooh, yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, meaning that's something definitely we can also talk about, because even in that, did you always wonder, like, why couldn't you be there for me to raise me? I think that that's possibly every child that feels that way at a certain point. I think that's a natural, feeling to have. Then T.I. said, you are embarrassing the family, but T.I., didn't you do that already with? Yeah, exactly. He said, you embarrassing yourself and the family. T.I., how many times have you embarrassed the family? How many times have you embarrassed your wife? You embarrassed Deja. So we not going to even go there. But again, T.I., again, he does come off cocky and arrogant, and he feels like he can do what he want to do, but can't nobody do it to him, that narcissistic behavior. 100 facts all day. Hey, how you doing? I think it's your first time in the comment section. Welcome. King just needs a makeover. I'm sure there's a nice looking guy there. Yeah. But I'm sure his African features and him being a light-skinned brother is what's making people be like, he just looks different. If he was more melanated, I don't think people will be looking at it like it's a big deal. Like when people say they get judged because they're light-skinned, like, child, sometimes a racist white police officer might see a dark-skinned man and unalive him. The world is harder on darker skin. Yeah. And let's keep it real. All of these unalive situations we had with police and all of that stuff, if y'all really look at, like, because I know there's actual pictures out there and they show all of the people who have been unalive in the Black community by the police. Y'all look at those pictures and y'all see what those men and those women look like. Y'all see what those men and women look like. They're more on the melanated side. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. I don't know if that's a coincidence. That's why I feel like the light-skinned people should never complain, because it's like, how dare you when the other half, it's hard. But they want to pretend like it's not harder. And let's not downplay little man syndrome. Right. And he's a little guy. He's probably like his mother's height. He ain't that much taller than his mother. And his mother, her name is Tiny because she's tiny. I don't even think Tiny is 5 feet. I want to say she's 4'11". Hell no, my mama is crazy. She did enough damage the amount of time I was around her. The kids she raised are stuck on stupid and relaxed on dumb. But again, it was your mother's responsibility to raise you, though. That's one thing you do agree on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the thing. It's like, that was your mother and your father's responsibility. I think that T.I. and Tiny need to cut him off and let him find out what being grown is about, since he wanted to be disrespectful towards his parents. Who's to say they haven't cut him off? Who's to say he haven't? Who's to say they haven't cut him off? He may go to family functions, but do we know where he lives? Because it's clear he don't live with them. You know what I mean? Like, where does he actually live? So we really don't know what's going on right now. You know, he was already only going to the house to shoot, so we don't really know who's financially provided for him. It could be his grandmama giving him money. You know what I'm saying? Or I would hope he hasn't really gone to the street life. You know what I mean? But we don't know if they have cut him off yet. Yeah, she's short and he ain't that much taller than her. So I would say that he ain't even probably 5'5", and T.I. ain't that tall either. The SF? What's the SF? Drea, what's the SF? Times have really changed since I was a kid and I'm in my 60s. Yeah. But I'm sure, Wanda, in your 60s, you knew people who was being raised by their grandmama. And while their parents was around, but still being raised by their grandmama. Even, you know what I'm saying, in your 60s. So I think it's a generational thing sometimes, generational curses. That's a whole nother live to talk about generational curses. The self-proclaimed king of the South. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Did Tiny's mother ever appear on the show? She did not. And I was trying to figure out, I was like, who? I'm assuming he was talking about staying with Tiny's mama. But T.I.'s mama, I don't think ever was on the show, but I didn't watch every season. I know his sister was on the show. God rest her soul, because she passed. But I don't think his mother was on the show. Oh, you think she was on the show? I think that was the sister that passed. The one who kind of had the copper color hair. I want to say that was the sister, not his mom. But with that being said, you guys, it's definitely, I just feel like it's deeper. That's what my gut is telling me, that it's deeper. You know what I mean? That it's much deeper than what we're seeing. And I think because we see what his parents have shown us on this show and shown us what their lifestyle is, we're thinking one thing when we really don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. I mean, do y'all really want to go there? Y'all know I love true crime. I've said that before. You want to go there? Let's talk about the Mendez brothers. I know y'all heard about them. They grew up in Beverly Hills. They had all types of money. And maybe when people saw them possibly lashing out, they was thinking it was a sign of entitlement. But then you see these documentaries and all of this stuff, and you find out that maybe there was something else going on. Money can hide a lot of stuff. It can. So, we would hope that it's just him being entitled and being spoiled. In a great world, that's what it is, and he just needs a hard lesson in life. That is the best scenario in this situation, that he's spoiled, he's entitled, and he just needs a harsh reality in life to wake up and mature. That's the best scenario. We don't really know what's going on with King. We don't know. So yeah. And trust me, I know it's hard, because I know when I saw that Waffle House live, I said, this ignorant little boy, like what the people at the Waffle House do to you? You know what I mean? I was thinking the same thing, but then as more time progressed, and then he did that interview saying that, his parents, didn't really, he was at his grandma's house and they would just drop him off and drop him back over there. And then this, I'm like, it could be something deeper that we just don't understand. We don't. Yeah, you remember them, the Mendez brothers. Am I saying it right? I think it was the Mendez brothers. But y'all know them brothers. Look them up. They got so many documentaries. Of course, it happened out here in Cali, child. But yeah, they got so many documentaries. Oh, so did she spoil him on there? Who? The auntie? The auntie or the grandmother? Well, all grandmothers typically spoil their grandkids more than they own kids. Like, that's typically what the grandparents are supposed to do. But yeah, I'm sure she did. Or it may have been the Escape SWV reality show. Child, it's all a blur at this point. Oh, okay. Yeah, Tiny's mom was on the show plenty of times. I just don't remember T.I.'s mom on the show. The father was a piece of work, poor Eric and his brother, right? So again, money can mask a lot. And I think because we live in a very capitalistic society, people think if you have money, everything is all right. Everything is all right. You shouldn't have any issues because you got money. You shouldn't have any issues because you got millions. You shouldn't have any issues. But again, we never know. The grandmother, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, that's all I wanted to say. I did post a link, but I know this was longer with me ranting. If you guys wanted to come up, but I guess we're just going to have to see how this plays out after this. Are they going to keep him quiet and then the parents are going to come out and say what they're going to say in the situation, or they're just not going to say anything and ignore it? Because of course, as people with social media, we have a short attention span. This may be a hot topic now, but at the end of the day, next week or hell tomorrow, something else probably gonna happen, and then we're gonna forget about this. So, it's one of those things where we'll see how it plays out, but I don't know. I don't put it past King to lash out. I just hope that, whatever is going on with him, it gets resolved in the healthiest way. Because when you think about it, this boy is still only 19 years old. I know 19, hell, 18, 19, we thought we were so grown and we thought we had life figured out. We really didn't. Life may have people was forced to figure out life maybe because of their situations, but you still have a young mind that needs to be developed, So that's the only thing. Another shocking story will come along, right? Hi, Dollface 444. He's the lost child in the family. Yeah, and maybe even considered the black sheep of the family, which black sheeps of the family tend to lash out. We will forget as soon as another accuser comes forward, because I have a feeling they aren't done with Aaron Hall. Yeah, they probably aren't done with Aaron Hall, but the problem is I don't know what type of Aaron Hall money is left. So if it's not that, they're gonna have to do the criminal side, because after posting them freaking lyrics, child, I was shocked. I didn't even realize, and I remember hearing that song all the time growing up. And I got another song that was very popular back in the day that you wouldn't believe the lyrics to, that will make you wonder. But that's another conversation. And I literally was talking about that today. I said, I can't believe we were singing this damn song, and this song is super questionable. Let's see. Yes, also middle child in terms of their combined kids. Yes, middle child in terms of their combined kids. King, stay off of social media and resolve your family issues. Yeah, I would agree with that. The problem is, though, what if his family, Wanda, what if his parents are not trying to resolve the issues? What if they keep ignoring when he's trying to express how he feels? They keep brushing it off. What if? You know what I mean? What if? So, that's what I'm saying. We necessarily don't know. Of course. What song, right? Tell us the song. Don't leave us hanging. I was shocked about Aaron Hall. Not the I Miss You guy. Yeah, but that Don't Be Afraid song, as you saw, the 90s was a mess, freaking up and down. Yeah, so I'm actually, before we get off, since y'all want to sit up there and hear this, I'm gonna say it the way that it was said back in the day, because I'm sure a lot of y'all literally used to sing this and didn't realize what the hell was going on. But let me do it for y'all real quick, and then I'm gonna get off. Backstage, underage adolescent, how you doing? Fine, she replied. I sigh, I like to do the wild thing. Action took place. Hey, kind of wet. Don't forget the J, the I, the M, the Y, y'all. I need a body bag. What song is that? Backstage, underage adolescent. How you doing? Fine. She replied. I sigh. I like to do the wild thing. Action took place. Kind of wet. Don't forget the J, the I, the M, the Y, y'all. I need a body bag. Didn't realize what they were saying, huh? That is true. That is true, Wanda. That is true. And people, this fame has done that for a lot of people too. But even social media and no fame, I agree. For a number of years, nothing surprises me. Yeah. Yes, y'all know that song, don't you? You don't you? Don't you? Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of songs that we heard growing up that we grew to, and we don't even realize, like, what the hell and who wrote those lyrics. Exactly. Was so busy jamming and wasn't paying attention until now. Don't Be Afraid was, I think, on the Juice soundtrack. Grooving to that. Hell, I'm sure y'all know people who used to do recitals and dance competitions who danced to those songs. Didn't even realize what it was saying. We just too busy jamming to the beat. So this is what I'm saying. But on that note, I know we got off topic with that. Oh yes, child. See, this is what I'm saying. So, but again, young doesn't necessarily mean underage. People can say someone 19, 20, 21 is young, okay? And those ages are still legal, you know? So, but that one says underage. Feel me? Feel me? So, oh, child, see, this is what I'm saying. Okay, so on that note, y'all, because we're getting off topic. That's why I say this is a whole different discussion at this point. Alan was singing a song like he was telling us what he was doing. See, and we was too busy grooving. We was too busy grooving. As much as I love Guy in a Minute, our entire catalog, we be going. I made sure I watched my daughter very carefully on Entertainment Says. You better say that again, Kim. You better say that again. So on that note, you guys, like I said, it's kitchen talk for us. We go off on tangents all the time. That's why I love y'all and y'all love me. So yeah, you guys. So I just wanted to give a different perspective on the situation. Sag, hi babes. Oh my gosh, I miss you so much. You guys, beautiful Sag is in the building. We about to get off though, boo. So yeah, you got to watch the replay, but I'm so glad you came in here and said hello. Hey sister, how are you? Yeah, yes, that's the song. That is the song. So yeah, you guys, I just wanted to give a different perspective on it. We'll see. I just know one thing. It's been so much stuff going on. I'm like, damn, we ain't even in December yet. Whoo. Like, what else is there coming up? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Yes, great discussion. Yes, we miss you. We miss you so much. So you guys, until the next video, of course, I do my reviews on the shows, but on Wednesday, we are going to talk about Raising Kanan. We are going to do predictions. So for those who don't remember what happened last season or even the first season, maybe you're new to the show, watch it and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the predictions and what possibly we will expect this week, starting this week, December 1st. Raising Kanan begins. And I am so excited because sometimes these reality shows are just too much for me. This is a year we won't forget. Yeah, it will not be, which makes me wonder what the hell is going to happen in 2024. Y'all stay prayed up. Hey, y'all, love y'all. Keep my baby in your as always. And hit me up on the DM on that too. Yes, but yes, always keeping him in prayer. Have to rewatch the last one. Yes, rewatch the last one. But you guys, on that note, thank you again. Thank you again. Yes, honey, I'm excited. Thank you guys again for listening in. I appreciate y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Replay gang. Definitely leave your comments below on this topic and all the other topics we talked about towards the end. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.